change about America and change about yourself?
At the same time.
Separately, at the same time, whatever way you like.
Okay, what would I change about America? Do I have to give you... I suppose I shouldn't even be asking, like, qualifying questions because it's my question to begin with, right?
You can interpret the question
Do I
any
have to
way
give
you
you,
want.
like, effective ways of achieving what I would like to change about America?
No, what you want to change. What exactly do you want to change, you know? The most, the top priority.
Top priority would be removing fear and guilt as, like, main motivators for keeping people in line or making people do things in their lives. Like, I don't want people to be working because they fear that if they don't, they won't have health care or they won't be able to feed their families or achieve anything worthwhile or be a worthwhile person. I think a lot of why America doesn't change or doesn't really progress well is because people are terrified of losing everything. I don't think people should live in terror of losing everything. And then I think one of the ways to do that is to guarantee as a community that if any member should need it, they will have health care, they will have education, they will have support in times of crisis. And I think that our individualism makes us feel that those things won't exist, or at least that they're not guaranteed to us, so that we need to protect ourselves above all things.
What do you say to people who think fear and terror have always existed throughout history? You can't get rid of them.
I don't think that because something's existed forever that means you can't get rid of it. I think, for instance, that sexism has existed in most cultures throughout history, but that progress toward actual equality has been happening, and that's never happened in human history. So I think that I don't think that the fact of something having always been true means that it can't change. And I think that despite that fear and guilt are great motivators in human life, they don't have to be the only motivators. Yeah.
What kind of effective action would you have other people take? Would you take to start removing these fears and terror from the lives of Americans and other people throughout the world?
Well, I think on a practical level, you would have to have things in place to guarantee like the most basic issues about survival, like having housing, having food, having healthcare. That once those things are provided for, some like the biggest biological fears are taken care of. And then beyond that, I think you would have to work on having cultural movements that redefine success and redefine what it means to be a good person, and remove from those definitions the whole
Well, how do you think art and poetry can change that, help contribute, changing the removal of fear and terror?
I think what art can do in ways that perhaps other things can't is it can show connections between things. It can make them alive to people. It can make them real. And that I think once you understand that everything is connected, there's a kind of compassion that emanates from that, where you recognize, if I'm connected to everything else, then I affect everything else, and so if I treat those things as I want to be treated, then the whole system continues to work and everything in it lives. But I think if those connections aren't shown to people, I think that's where fear grows. So I guess I would say that art and poetry could remove fear by showing people that they're connected to things, and by helping foster the compassion that naturally arises from that.
What's your name?
Reese.
Reese.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Paul,
Oh no.
what would you change about America and yourself?
Now, what do I change about America? Okay, first of all, I think that America should realize more of its dream of democracy by, first of all, providing public financing of campaigns, so that get big money, get big money out of it, so that it can function more like a real democracy, meaning that the majority of the people who are poor and middle class and not rich have the strongest voice. Beyond that, national health care to provide for people's health security, single payer to greatly reduce the cost of health care. I would create a full employment economy with the government as employer of last resort. I would ultimately look for ways of replacing capitalism. I don't think we know how to do that right now, but I think we have to look for more democratic ways of organizing our economic relationships. I think finding ways of incorporating technological progress into a democratic vision of the future also. I think we're going to create a rapid technological progress, and things like, example, is like the open source, the free software movement shows an alternative to the idea of software as a commodity to be distributed primarily for profit.
You think art and poetry, music can be helpful to that process of democratic transformation of America?
Yeah, in the sense of one is to get information out to people. They might listen to music or something in a way that they wouldn't listen to a news report. To get people thinking in terms of being empowered, that they have some agency over things, just even if it's just making a painting or something.
Cool. Thank you. Paul. Christy, what would you change about yourself or about America?
I think that what I would change is the way that so many people don't feel like they have power in their own lives and in their communities. I think what I would like to see is a country where people feel like they have something valuable to contribute and something that they have chosen for themselves. Because I think so many people feel like there's so much that they're up against, and that what they do doesn't matter. So, and I mean, a lot of that is because we're so removed from the things that control our lives through the economy and the government. People don't feel like they have a role in that because I guess a lot of times they don't, and a lot of people don't feel empowered. So I think it would have to be changing. It would have to be changing the way our democracy is, so that everyone does have a say in some shape or form, so that people can choose things for themselves.
Can you think of an example where art or music or poetry have helped that process of change? For example, in your own life?
Yeah, I think that all kinds of art help people rethink the possibilities and rethink what our world and what our communities could look like. Because when you get so used to the way things are, I guess you can become complacent. And so I think that when people can get together and imagine, like actually think about what's wrong, what would we like to see different, then something can come out of that.
And art can be the place of that imagination?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.